Hi there and welcome back to Two Chicks Going Green. Nowadays, one of the biggest parts of living as zero waste and as sustainably as possible is cutting out single-use plastic waste. And that's because globally, that is the biggest issue that we currently face when it comes to harmful waste. However, we're not going to solve this problem by just switching from plastic to some other material like paper or glass. That just creates a whole new set of problems. So in this video, I'm going to shed some light on some lesser known but important information on the environmental impact of other materials like paper and glass, and talk about how you can do your part. Like I alluded to before, there's a huge misconception out there that leads people who are, mind you, trying to make a positive environmental impact to focus on zero plastic. And they get all caught up in buying everything new without plastic in it, sometimes even throwing out things that they already owned that had plastic in them, but that still worked perfectly fine. All this does is create an even bigger issue. If something that was already in use contained plastic or was made of plastic and could be used for much longer, then the best thing to do is continue using that until you can't anymore. Unless it's for storing hot food, then that's another story, and make sure to watch our video on why you shouldn't be doing this at all. Unfortunately, sometimes people wanting to make these changes a little bit too quickly without maybe knowing the best way to do so fall prey to greenwashing and fail to realize that the real issue with our current ways is consumerism and single-use plastic products and packaging. Because all products take energy and resources to make and to dispose of, regardless of the material used. So being aware of the true toll that different materials have on the environment and taking more of a minimalist approach to your lifestyle with a focus on the different R's: refuse, reduce, reuse, repurpose, repair, and recycle, is the best way that we can individually do our part to help solve this problem. And if you want to learn more about the zero waste movement and low waste living, make sure to check out our detailed video on the topic. I think you'll really like it and find it helpful. It's linked below, and a link should come up above me right now. We also get into how you can apply those different R's to your life in the best way possible. All this being said, plastic is of course the most harmful of the single-use materials out there for so many reasons, as we've mentioned in many of our videos. It takes lots of non-renewable resources to produce, like water and oil, has all sorts of harmful health effects when used for food and beverages, and produces a huge amount of waste, which either fills landfills or lingers around for hundreds of years in the environment, causing damage by harming wildlife, marine life, and ultimately us as well. And even when it is recycled, it can only be downcycled about 1 to 3 times before it can't be recycled anymore and is considered waste. We have a whole video on plastics if you want to learn more. Speaking of plastic waste, by the way, one of the biggest culprits of single-use plastic waste are plastic water bottles. So for this video, we've teamed up with Epic Water Filters, which makes water filters that can be used anywhere and prevent the need to buy any sort of plastic packaged water. So make sure to check them out at epicwaterfilters.com and make sure to use the discount code 2ChicksGoingGreen for 20% off your purchase. And that's with the number 2 at the start of that. And that will be linked in the description below as well. So to sum up what I was saying, avoiding single-use plastic items is extremely important for so many reasons. But what about other materials like paper and glass and cardboard, bamboo, cotton? Well, those all carry an environmental toll as well. So let's go through and discuss the facts behind each of these materials one by one, as well as what actions you can take that help solve the issues with each of these materials. Let's start with paper products like sheets of paper, toilet paper, paper towels, and napkins. While paper is biodegradable, the environmental effects of paper production include deforestation, the use of enormous amounts of energy and water, as well as air pollution and waste problems. Studies show that paper accounts for around 26% of total waste at landfills. And while paper is quite simple to recycle, only 45% of the global paper supply comes from recycled paper. It's also important to understand that paper has an end of life, which means that after 5 to 7 times of being recycled, the fibers are too small to make new products. Paper towels and napkins, facial tissue, and toilet paper are some examples of these products. So they can't be recycled. Once they are used, they have to go to the landfill. So some things that you can do are try to do more digitally instead of on paper. But if you have to use paper to print on or for notebooks, then make sure that you buy 100% recycled paper and recycle it when you're done with it. Instead of using store-bought paper products like paper towels for your household needs, use old shirts or reusable cloths and compostable cellulose sponges for cleaning and drying. reusable cloth napkins for eating, and 100% post-consumer recycled toilet paper that is dye-free. And if you do have to buy any paper products, make sure that they're made from 100% post-consumer recycled material. Moving on to cardboard and paperboard from packaging and shipping materials. Although cardboard is biodegradable and requires less energy to produce than plastic, it also uses more water and creates more solid waste in the process. And while the global carbon footprint of the industry is relatively low, around 1%, due to manufacturers using renewable energy sources such as biomass, biogas, and hydroelectricity, it's also bulkier and heavier, meaning that there are higher CO2 emissions associated with transport. Moreover, around 55% of all cardboard globally is still made by cutting down trees. So here are some actions that you can take. When grocery shopping, buy what you can in bulk, aka package free. Most grocery stores have a bulk section, or check to see if there's a zero waste store near you. If you have to buy something that is packaged, get the largest size that you can and look for items packaged in recycled paperboard. When you need to shop for anything else, try shopping locally at small businesses and secondhand so that there's no wasted shipping materials. But if you do have to shop online, shop from eco-friendlier websites like Earth Hero and the Package Free Shop, or from small green businesses like my TG Organica Etsy shop, where shipping materials are all made from recycled material. And try reusing these shipping materials if you can, and if not, make sure to recycle them properly by taking off the shipping labels and folding up for curbside pickup. Now moving on to glass jars and containers. While glass is infinitely recyclable and can be recycled endlessly without any loss in purity or quality, glass makers are limited by what recycled material is available to them at a manageable cost. And depending on how the U.S. facility recycles, that processing is done relatively inefficiently compared with what happens in Europe, which is why recycling glass in the U.S. is a more energy-intensive process. Additionally, USA has roughly a 33% glass recycling rate, which pales in comparison with the 90% recycling rate in Switzerland, Germany, and other European countries. According to Recycle Across America, more than 28 billion glass bottles and jars end up in landfills in the USA every year. That's the equivalent of filling up 2 Empire State Buildings every 3 weeks. Glass is also heavy, which means that it has a high carbon footprint when it comes to transport. And even though glass doesn't cause harmful side effects when used for food storage like plastic does, it's still wasted resources if used unnecessarily. So here are some things that you can easily do at home to help. Upcycle and reuse glass jars as much as you can. I use mine for all sorts of stuff around the house, but I especially love using them for freezing food. So make sure you check out our video on this topic if you want to learn how to do that. If you drink, get cans or drinks on tap instead of glass bottles. Shop package-free in bulk at grocery stores and zero-waste shops, and use the upcycled glass jars from your pasta sauces or jams, etc., to store these purchased products like your bulk grains, nuts, and seeds. This is what I do at home. And lastly, make sure to recycle correctly by washing the glass jars and ensuring that you don't throw broken glass, drinking glasses, glass objects, and window glass out with recyclable glass curbside. This can contaminate other recyclables like paper and cardboard and lower their value. Now let's talk about aluminum, like aluminum foil and beverage cans. Aluminum is an abundant element found on the Earth's surface, but turning bauxite into aluminum requires a lot of energy, and it has a variety of environmental impacts. Both open and underground mines affect the plant and animal life in the area for multiple generations. Clear-cutting trees and grasslands contributes to biodiversity loss, habitat loss, carbon emissions, and erosion. Additionally, aluminum refining processes use varying levels of electricity and water, which can cause high carbon emissions and create air and water pollution. Still, aluminum is one of the most recycled and most recyclable materials on the market today. It can be recycled directly back into itself over and over again efficiently in a true closed loop. And proof of this is that nearly 75% of all aluminum ever produced is still in use today, which is amazing. Unfortunately, there's a lot of aluminum lost to landfills, which can be improved by proper post-consumer recycling habits and not using it unnecessarily. So here are some things that you can do. Replace aluminum foil used for covering food in the kitchen with wax wraps, which can be used over and over again for about a year before being composted. And these are one of my favorite zero-waste kitchen items, and I have a whole video on them, so make sure you check that video out. Instead of using aluminum foil for baking, just use your cooking tray. This is something that my boyfriend and I have now been doing for years. And if you do use foil for some baking, make sure that you wash it well or place it in the dishwasher and ball it up before placing it in the recycling bin. Not a lot of people know that clean aluminum foil can be recycled curbside. For aluminum beverage cans, make sure that you rinse them well before recycling, and always place in the correct recycling bin to ensure that they do get recycled. A recycled aluminum soda can become a new can in only 2 months. Oh, and watch out for other canned goods because they're usually lined with plastic. Lastly, let's talk about other materials made from renewable plant fibers, like bamboo used in disposable cutlery and cotton used for all sorts of textiles. While products and textiles made from natural, renewable plant fibers have a lower carbon footprint and are fully biodegradable, the plants used to make them still require energy, water, and land to grow. Cotton is the worst in this regard, and its production also requires lots of insecticides and pesticides if it's not organic. We discuss the environmental impacts of creating textiles from natural fibers like cotton and bamboo in detail in another one of our videos, so make sure to check it out to learn more. When it comes to bamboo, it's a great plant to use because it takes about 3 years to grow to a proper size versus a tree, which can take 30 to 50 years to become big enough to be used as timber. And a typical bamboo grove can also release 35% more oxygen into the atmosphere compared to a similar sized tree. However, disposable bamboo products that are just thrown away actually have a higher carbon footprint than plastic. And if they end up in landfills, they won't biodegrade. So while products made from natural renewable resources are still overall better for the planet and our health, it's important to realize that using them for short-term or single-use applications is still extremely wasteful and harmful to the planet. So let's talk about what you can do. Use reusable items made from natural fibers as long as possible until you can't anymore. For example, a reusable bamboo cutlery set, like the ones that I sell on my TG Organica site. Those are meant to be used for as long as you possibly can, which is about a year before they need to be composted. Secondly, if you're looking to buy a natural fiber product, try to buy it secondhand first. If you must buy it new, then buy ones that are organic and non-treated. And try looking for products made from upcycled or repurposed materials as well. For clothing and textiles, if you can't resell or donate them, see if you can find another use for them around the house, like for cloth napkins or for rags for cleaning. And lastly, make sure to dispose of products made from natural fibers properly when you're done with them. If they can be composted or buried, make sure to do so. Don't throw them in the trash. So in conclusion, the goal is to not waste at all, no matter what the material is, and to not buy things that you don't really need. By switching to reusable items that we will use over and over again, we can prevent waste and lessen our environmental impact. And this is what our channel is all about. We have lots of detailed videos on how you can lower your individual impact by making small changes that make a big difference over time. Remember that the way that we live today has an impact on future generations. So if we all do our small part, we can make a big difference together and make our future a little bit better for this planet. So I hope that you subscribe to our channel and join us on this journey to living more sustainably. I've also included links to all of the videos mentioned, as well as resources and articles on the topic in the description below. And that's about it for today's video. I hope you liked it and found it helpful, and if you did, please give it a big thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those in the comment section below. And if you would like to contribute to our Ko-fi page, that will be linked in the description below as well. So thanks so much for joining me on this video, and I hope to see you on the next one.